Happy Monday. Today, you get to listen in on a coaching call that was actually with my sister. So, I am up in Minnesota and she lives down in Tennessee, and she has been implementing the routines that I have been teaching. And I recently went down there with my husband for her husband's birthday. And we were able to celebrate his birthday, spend a lot of time with them just hanging out. It was so nice. But she also helped me actually edit the Your Organized Life blueprint that I created. So if you have been using that or if you haven't gotten it yet, you can just go to yourorganizedlifeblueprint.com. And I just need to give a big shout out and thank you to her because she combed through that thing so well and gave me some tweaks and some corrections. And she just helped me a ton going through that. So I'm very grateful to her. But in this coaching call, we're actually helping refine some of the routines that she has built. So she has been putting in her home routine, which she loves, and she wanted to hone in a little bit more on her movement routine and then some of her meal planning routine. And we just kind of talk everything through. So it gives you a really good grasp of how a one of these coaching calls would work. They're very casual, just talking through the routine and helping to see where we can make some tweaks that are sustainable but also work for you, not just a cookie cutter routine. We want to make sure that things that we change are actually going to be beneficial so that you can make the best changes and continue it moving forward. I was also asked recently if you had to have your sessions posted on the podcast if you book a session with me. And I want to reassure you that you do not have to allow the recording. I actually ask before our coaching session if you want this to be aired on the podcast. So, having a coaching session with me does not mean that everything is going to be out in public. It's totally up to you. If you prefer it to be private, we can do it private and then it's just you and me. So that is completely your choice and we can edit some information. Maybe we're talking about budgets or something like that. We do not have to air that information. So I just want to reassure you of that. And if this is something that you're interested in, you can actually go to yourorganizedlifeblueprint.com. My website is not completely finished yet, so this is the best way to go. You can just scroll down and there is a spot for one-on-one coaching, and that is where you can book a session. Now, I am working full time while I'm doing this, so the spots are limited. But if there is something that you want to talk to me about and we want to hash out together, then you can go and book one of those sessions that are available. I am happy to hop on a Zoom call with you. They're very casual. We hop on usually early in the morning because I have to work around my work schedule. Show up with coffee and cozy clothes. It's just a ton of fun. I've been really enjoying those. So if you want to hop on a call with me, that is where you book it. The last thing before we get into the session, I know you want to jump in, but we are still doing the 21-day declutter challenge in the Facebook group. If you want to come join us, it is not too late. You can just come in and either you can go back and catch up on the challenges that have been posted so far, or you can just move forward from today. Each task that you complete gets you an entry into the giveaway, and we have three prizes that we're giving away. So if you want to hop into the Facebook group, come and join. Everything is pinned at the top of the group with all the details. And it is just a fabulous community right now. We are building it, and there are so many amazing women in there, and it has been so much fun. So if you want to join us for that, that is at facebook.com/groups/the routine advantage community. So now we will get into the coaching session with Trisha, and I hope you really enjoy this call, and I hope you learned something too. Are you ready to stop the chaos, the stress, the overwhelm that's filling your life? I'm Renae Matt, and together you and I are going to build simple routines that are going to change your life. When you put these habits into practice, you're going to be able to organize your life in a way where you can be there for your family, pay off your debt, save money, your house can stay organized, you don't have to stress about what's for dinner, and you still get time for yourself. So without further ado, let's get started. Welcome to the Routine Advantage Podcast. do you want to start by kind of walking through your day? Actually, I can share my screen here. And I plugged in the information that you had sent about like your day to day. So we can kind of walk through that and see if it looks accurate or if you want to change anything to see where we're kind of starting from.
Awesome. Oh, that's handy dandy. Yeah, I'm on my phone, but I did write it down as well. Well, and as I had mentioned before, like obviously I recently quit my job. So my day is much quieter than it used to be, and that is very intentional. So
Nice.
I do want a routine because I am a routine person, but like I am not looking to jam pack my day into craziness. So this is currently what I am doing. So starting in the morning, do you want me to go through it, Renee?
Sure. Yeah,
Okay.
let's walk through it because then if you think of anything, then we can just adjust if you think of any changes that you come across.
Yeah.
And then I'll
This is
tweak it on my end.
Yeah, this is definitely a template, but I would say I've been getting up around 7:30, 8 o'clock, and then I am trying to do what you suggested, where my alarm goes off and I get up immediately and go wash my face. That is
So
very hard
important.
for me because I am a hit the snooze button multiple times, but it seems to be working pretty well. I do like that. And then with getting ready, that is one that I'm kind of struggling with a little bit in that I get ready for the day. However, I'm not putting makeup on, which is super weird for me. So I kind of feel almost lazy because it's
Oh,
always
sure.
been a part of my routine, but yet it's also kind of liberating, if that makes
Yep.
any sense.
Yeah, it totally does.
And then, so after I get ready for the day, 9 o'clock generally is my coffee time, check my emails, things along that nature. And
And
then
I'm sorry, I'm just gonna butt in. Is that when you're doing your business stuff for your photography?
it is, yeah. Right
Okay.
now, it is the end of season, so it's pretty quiet on that front. We had a very busy couple of months, actually 3 months here, and it's just coming to a close.
Okay.
So, I'm still checking my emails because you get, like, some straggling orders. I got one last night, so I do still pay attention to that, but
Okay.
it goes pretty quickly. So I do my coffee and my email, that takes about a half an hour or so. And then 9:30, I am doing my home routine, which, oh my goodness gracious, I am in love with. I
Okay.
freaking love the home routine. I think that's probably my favorite. Well, you know me and budgeting, so budgeting as well, but home routine has is like changed my life. I'm very
Good.
pumped for it.
Yay. That's
Um,
exciting because I that was the one that was like the biggest game changer for me. I was like, "Oh, yeah, this is like so much easier than what I've been doing."
well, what we had previously done, I'm married, and you know, but I'll tell everybody else I'm married. And what my husband and I would do is we would kind of let the house go and just, you know, let the house go. It is what it is. And then we would clean on the weekends. And it was miserable because you would spend the whole weekend cleaning. And then my poor man didn't feel like he had a weekend. And I felt like I was cleaning the whole time. And it just didn't allow us to do any of the fun things that we like to do on the weekends. So it was just kind of irritating. Well, now switching it up to doing the home routine, the house is always clean, and
Mhm.
or at least way cleaner than it used to be.
Yep. Like
So
tidier.
tidier, that's a perfect word, because I'm still doing things like dusting and, you know, the decluttering, things like that that are different from the home routine. But just having those basics that I know and I can just go into, I just love it. So thank you for that.
Oh, you are very welcome. Thanks for trusting me and trying it.
You are very welcome. But after that at 10:15, I usually do like start my laundry. We always do laundry throughout the day, so that's not a big thing for me, but I do like to get it going in the morning, and then I like to unload the dishwasher so I can load the dishwasher throughout the day if needed. And
Okay.
then,
So you don't combine the laundry and dishwasher with your home routine. Your home routine is separate. Those are other
well,
basics. There are your other priorities, and then you do your other things separately.
laundry, I would say, is part of my home routine, for gathering it, but when
Okay.
I'm starting it, I put that more on a separate thing because I don't wanna forget it, so I'm always just like, "Okay, go make sure the laundry's going or fold or whatever I need to do, and then unload the dishwasher," and
Okay.
yeah, so I would say that is separate now that you
Okay.
say it like that. After that, because I'm not working right now, I'm really taking the time to enjoy. So,
Mhm.
for usually the next hour and a half, at least till lunchtime, I'm looking at either doing, one of my hobbies, whether it's sewing or crocheting or baking or working on my photography, anything like that. That usually takes up a nice little chunk of time. I also enjoy making videos for my motorsports photography business, just little reels and things like that. So
Mhm.
now that it's the off season, I'll be doing those videos because I have a lot of content that I've accumulated throughout the season. Um, but yeah, so it's more things that I enjoy. Also, right now, I'm really taking the time to learn things. So whether it is a Canva tutorial or I want to learn something about Premiere Pro or Photoshop, I like taking that time to go on YouTube and learn um, some new skills. So
Okay.
that takes up a good chunk. And then after that, I just like to get ready for lunch. Yeah, that ebbs and flows a little bit, but it's generally around noon. And my husband works from home, so that's really nice because he actually does get an hour lunch. So we take the hour lunch. I'm with him
Okay.
at that point. We do lunch together. And then after that, we do the cleanup. And then in the afternoon, I'm generally editing videos that I made before, and then it starts getting into the dinner routine. So not really dinner routine, but dinner prep. So like 3:30,
Okay.
I'm usually starting dinner, and I like to have stuff cleaned up before we actually eat, which has been a
Yep.
big time saver. You had mentioned that too, to kind of clean up as you go. And I was really bad at that before. I would mainly just kind of not store, but load the dishwasher with what I could because I've emptied it, so that wasn't a problem. But if there were any other dishes, they would just stay in the sink
Okay.
until the next day, usually.
Okay, so you
Or
would leave them overnight? Because, well,
I
yeah, once
would.
you sit down for dinner, it's like you're relaxed and then your whole body just kind of chills. You don't wanna get back up and clean. Yeah,
For
I
sure,
get
yeah.
it.
So it has definitely been nice that the kitchen's clean by the time we sit down for dinner. Now, I'm going to admit this. My husband and I sit on the couch when we eat dinner. So
So do we. So do we.
we've tried doing the table thing, and it's so funny because we converted our dining room into my hobby area, and we still have a nook that has a table which never gets used. So I'm like, maybe I can confiscate that for my needs as well. We use the island or we use the couch. That doesn't really matter. Who needs a dining room? Who needs a nook?
That's funny.
So
I ask Tony all the time if we can sit at the table, and he's just like, I'd rather be on the couch. It's cozier there." Like,
it
"Okay."
really is. So we have our table in front of us, and we generally put our show on it. Like, a non-consequential. That's not the word. Non-consequential. Anyway, a show that doesn't really matter. It's just kind of background noise, and
Oh,
we
yep.
can still talk at the same time. It's not like you just sit and stare at the TV, but
Right.
you can still talk. So we do dinner,
Thing that
and then
doesn't need your full attention.
yeah. And then after that, I'm a night showerer, so I like to go take a shower and kind of get ready for the evening in that way because
Okay.
I because I have the freedom right now to be able to do my hobbies and stuff because I'm not working, I am very cognizant of having the evenings for my man. Like if he
Yep.
wants to, go sing karaoke, that's what we're gonna do. If we're gonna go on a little date, that's what we're gonna do. If he wants to just chill on the couch, that's totally fine as well. So I try to keep after 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, it's pretty much family time and that's it.
Yep.
It stays
Okay.
pretty quiet. So does that help?
That Yep, that's super helpful. So, your number one thing that you said that you wanted to plug in was movement.
Yeah,
And
did you notice
so
it's not in there?
yeah. No, well, that's what we're working on. So, what, do you already have it kind of in your mind of where you want to plug that in, or are you struggling with where the best time is or what to do? Like, how do you want to break down, like, do we wanna start at the beginning and work through it, or do you already have some thoughts in mind?
So I kind of wanted to bounce this off you because I'm not really sure what would work best. Because normally I would say I'm more of a morning person, right? I want to get out there and go take the dogs for a walk, and that would be getting me out, right? And that I think is probably the route that I want to go. However, my man just signed up to climb a mountain.
I heard this. Tony told me this last night. I was like, "Can just tell me that?"
I know. It literally just happened yesterday. A good friend of
That's
ours
exciting.
asked Mikey to join him, and it's intense. It's dangerous, but he has to train for it. So
Mhm.
that's a whole nother conversation. But anyway, he's going to be training for this mountain climb. So I had asked him maybe I could kind of piggyback on not necessarily what he's doing, but when he's doing it. So then I don't have that option of going, man, I don't really feel like it.
Yep. And with that, I will say, like, I'm also a morning person. When I was doing my morning home workout,
Hmm.
as part of my morning routine for the longest time, and I still prefer mornings, I think. But when Tony and I decided to go to the gym together, it holds both of us more accountable, and it can sync up our routine so that it's actually plugged in and we both know what's happening at the same time. So that is huge. Does he know when he is thinking that he wants to work out?
Well, he's done this before when he gets on workout routines. He likes doing lunch. So because he works from
Oh,
home,
nice.
he's like, okay, I can set that dedicated time at 12:01. People expect you to go on lunch. And then he works out for 50, not 15, 50 minutes, and
Okay.
then eat something before he goes back. And because he has that hour lunch.
Do
But like
you work it out at home or do you run to the gym? Is it close?
we would be working out at home. We have well, this is so embarrassing because I don't use it. It's literally in my living room. I can see it right now. We have a bike and a rowing machine, and I have a bunch
Okay.
of just small weights and stuff like that. So we have all the stuff that we need in order to, accomplish what needs to be done. It's just it's lack of motivation on my part for sure. And
Okay.
it's one of those things that I don't think I want to do it, and then once I start doing it, I love it. An
Yep.
example of that, we went camping with some friends just recently. And normally for camping, what we would do is hang around the campsite, do our nails, play games or whatever. Well, my husband's not doing his nails, but you know what I mean.
Well, you never know.
Yeah. So it's more of just chilling and relaxing by the fire and stuff like that. Well, this last time we went camping, we went on 3 different hiking trails. We were gone, I think we left at like 9 o'clock in the morning, came back in the late afternoon, and it was wonderful. We had
Mhm.
so much fun, and that's why I said to my man, I'm like, "Dang, I don't even think I like hiking, and this was amazing." So, it's just one of those things that I need to do it, and I don't know why I'm not. I yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't know why I'm
Yeah.
not. So I just gotta kick myself in the booty.
I get in the same rut, and I think when we plug in what you like, having a plan of what you're gonna do and when you're gonna do it, it makes it so much easier, especially since you are a, like, detailed person and you like that, like, structure in a lot of
Mhm.
ways. So, if you have it plugged in so that you know what time, at least to start, that you know exactly when you're gonna do it, so that when that time comes, you have that, like, trigger thing, similar with the home routine, you have that first task. If we can get you a time structured that works for your schedule and then give you that first thing to do and have your routine and then just follow that for the first portion of it as you get started, I think it will kind of set you into that like momentum of continuing to do it. I think that'll be super helpful for you.
Well, the other thing too with, Mike having to train for this mountain climb, he doesn't have the luxury of not training because it's
Yeah.
dangerous if he doesn't. So he will have to train, and therefore, I'm just gonna feel like doo doo if I'm watching him work out and I'm just sitting there.
Good job, honey.
You can do it.
Well, and if you have all these machines at home, you can kinda just work your way in, like, almost like a circle or not a circle. I can't think of what I'm trying to say, but kind of like a rotation where you're kind of working through depending on what you guys are working out on.
Yeah, and I'm a big fan of walk away the pounds. Mikey does not understand that at all. He's like, "Why would you walk in place when you can just walk outside?"
Different
It's
muscle groups.
well, and that's the thing that I've liked it throughout the years where it's like the only thing that really helped me get rid of like my inner tube and stuff like that. Like, I don't know. But I also like walking outside. And we also have a dead end road. So that's handy because generally it's pretty quiet. But the last time I told somebody that, I believe it was you, where
Yep.
it's like, oh, this road's
It's
really
like so
quiet.
much traffic.
And there's so much traffic. It's like
Well,
usually it's quiet, really it is.
it was that garage sale that was down at the end. Um,
Yeah, maybe.
okay. So then let's plug in some ideas up here.
Oh, that's cool.
We're learning.
I love
Trying
screen
to learn.
sharing. You're doing awesome.
So what are your favorite things to do for movement? Let's start there and see where we get to help you kind of come up with something that you are wanting to do.
Because I don't do a lot of it. I don't know which one's my favorite. So,
Okay. Well,
to
and it
make it
doesn't necessarily
easier,
even have to be that equipment. Like any type of movement you enjoy, because if you enjoy dancing, you can find dancing workout videos. So it's like anything, any type of movement you really enjoy, let's just plug them in because you'll get these
so
notes afterwards.
walking is definitely top of the list.
Okay.
I would like to like running, but that's just not the case. I would say walking or speed walking. And then I do enjoy dancing. That usually ends up happening when I'm cleaning.
Okay.
um And then one that I've just recently realized is I like bike riding. I got an e-bike for my motorsports photography business because I have to get around the track. And you have the option of using it as an electric bike or as a regular bicycle. And I have found I've actually gotten out more here on our road because I've taken that bike out and just put it on manual and
Yep.
just go to the end of the road because it's enjoyable. So that's something I just realized that I like.
Okay. That's nice.
But I
And
like
you guys
that
have
bike,
pretty nice
not the
weather year round for
we
biking. Like you don't get snow and stuff, or for the
well
most part.
yeah, for the most part. There might be um a few days throughout the winter season, but no, it would just get a little bit chilly, but not undoable or you know what I mean? Undoable. Man, I'm just is that a word?
It is early, so it's okay.
I told you my coffee's
I
right
don't
here. I haven't
I
even
don't
had
even
half a
know.
cup yet.
Is undoable a word? I
Yeah,
don't
right?
even know. I don't even
Oh,
know. I
okay.
can't think either.
We're
Moving on.
gonna say it with confidence. That's what Mikey always
Yes.
tells me. Just say it with confidence, and then people believe you. I'm like,
Nobody will
"Mhm."
question it. They're gonna question it now that we've been talking about it for so long though. So okay.
Mhm. I'd say the walking, speed walking, dancing, biking. Yeah, that's probably the main ones.
So then we're gonna take these and let's go like this. Pull them down here.
Oh, that's
So
cool.
if you are thinking lunchtime with Mike, so you're really thinking that this is where your movement would go?
Well, let's back that up again. I think I probably should do a walk with the dogs in the morning, just so
Okay.
I have um that done because they liked that a lot when you were here and taking them out. That was nice. Um, and then yeah, I would say something in addition at lunch.
Okay. So let's plug that in. All right. So then when you are looking at your morning here, where do you think it would fit best on a typical day? I can zoom in here too a little bit. Is that
Well, I
easier
would
to
say
see?
probably earlier than 8 o'clock, but as I said, I'm intentionally keeping my day really quiet. So I'm
Mhm.
also not getting up as early as I used to. I used to get up at 5. So I'm taking advantage of the fact that I don't have to get up so early. So I
Which
would
is nice.
say it is. It really is. I feel a little bit guilty in the fact that I can have a quiet schedule when people's schedules are so chaotic. And I understand what that feels like. But seriously, if you have the option to just dial it back, it's really nice.
Yep. Yeah, I wouldn't feel bad about it at all, because that's the thing is, like, if you have the ability to be intentional with the time and create your day the way that you want it, like, I think that's wonderful. I don't think you have to feel guilty if other people are crazy busy, and hopefully, like, your example will also show people that they have the permission to dial it back and they don't have to be running all the time and running ragged. Like, we can cut things out. That's totally fine.
Well,
So, it's a good thing to see when somebody is able to do that and is actually taking the intentional time to dial it back.
well, thank you. And I just have to throw in too that it's actually like a complete mind shift. Um, because I liked having a full calendar. Like I liked having a full schedule. And I liked when you had to like throw things in and try to move things around. And but it does get exhausting after a while. And now I'm really liking that it's a lot quieter. So
Yep. Well, and it's a little bit more of a puzzle when you're trying to,
mhm.
like, fit things in. If you have that mind of wanting to figure things out, it makes sense that you enjoy that too. But the other thing too is I noticed when I was trying or like filling my days so much with things, do you find that you have a hard time being quiet and not doing anything and just thinking?
Yes.
Yeah. I was like, I was listening to something, I don't even remember what it was. They were talking about how our culture now is so focused on busying ourselves that even if you're standing in line in the grocery store, what are you doing? Like, are you thinking and being imaginative and creative, or do you pull out your phone to check messages or maybe scan email or people watch or whatever you're doing? Like, you're busying yourself doing things, you're not, like, getting in your head and thinking about things and
I'm that annoying person at the grocery store that talks to
talks
the
to
person
everybody.
in front of them.
It's not annoying. It's just
And
not what I
then
would
we
do.
park it there for 5 minutes while we're doing that. No.
I'm
But
okay
no,
with
I
talking
totally
to
get
people if they talk to me
I
first, but
totally get what you're saying. But before, we had a very busy schedule. Even with since I've quit, we were very busy. I actually took the time to go up to Minnesota, and then we had quite a few motorsports events. We had parties. We went to visit friends, but they weren't necessarily blocking off individual times of the day. It was more like events that were going to take up the whole day. So
okay.
that's a little bit different when your schedule is still busy. And
Yep.
like I said, it literally just came to the point where it's our quiet season, which sounds kind of funny because now we're coming up on the holidays and it's going to be our quiet season. People are now getting into gear to get like they're into their crazy season. But we are definitely having a very quiet Thanksgiving and Christmas this year, which I'm going to miss you guys,
We
but
will miss you.
but it's going to be quiet.
Yeah.
I
And
got
that
off
will
on
be
a tangent.
refreshing as
Sorry.
well. You what?
I said I got off on a tangent. Sorry.
Oh, no, you're fine. Okay, so if you wanna stay with the 8 o'clock get up, are you wanting to do the get up and take the walk and then come back and get ready, or do you wanna get ready before you go?
I think probably get up and go because I always feel yucky after I go for a walk. So I would
Okay.
rather get ready after.
So let's plug this in here. So are you thinking like a half hour where you get up at 8, walk the dogs, and then come back and get ready at 8:30 before you do your coffee and check emails at 9?
I would say that I would need a little bit more time. Maybe we
Okay.
could bump the getting up in the morning to 7:45 instead of 8. That way I have just a little bit extra time because I would like probably at least a half an hour of
For the walk.
walking. Yeah, because
Okay.
even my road, if I go all the way down to the end, come back and go to the stop sign, it takes me about that half hour. So if I had that where it's I have to do that no matter what, that would be a good constant.
Yep. And one thing that will help if you're not in the mood to get up and walk is to set out like your shoes and the clothes that you're going to wear and everything the night before so that as and even put it in the bathroom where you go in and you splash your face with cold water and brush your teeth quick. Then you can just do it all, get your stuff on, and by the time you leave, because you have that bathroom right next to your bedroom. Is that the bathroom you use to get ready in the
Yeah.
morning, or do you go to the other one?
Nope, I go to that one.
Yeah, so just put
Um,
everything in there, so then by the time you even leave your bedroom, you're already set to go.
Oh, that's a fabulous tip.
Plug that in. So then how does the rest of your morning look? Do you have a point at any point in your day where you are reviewing, like if it's in the morning that you're reviewing your schedule for the day to really like tweak things if they need to be tweaked so you have a solid plan for the day? Or do you do it the night before, looking at the day ahead? Do you have that habit yet? Or do you feel like that's something that would be helpful for you to plug in when you're going to look at your day ahead or your week ahead?
We usually, like I say we, because my husband and I are usually pretty good about just kind of keeping that as an ongoing thing. Like, hey, we've got this
Okay.
going on. Because right now my schedule is a lot quieter. So it's really easy to plug something in if we have something coming up. But I could see why it would be beneficial to just get in that habit for when I do go back to work where I would already have that in place. So,
Mhm.
yeah, because the morning routine, I kind of count my coffee and checking my emails as the morning routine. I know that's not really what you're kind of looking for. You've talked about journaling and stuff along that nature, but my coffee and my email checking is more of my me time.
Yep.
Uh,
The
but
the benefit of the morning time being more, and you don't have to journal if journaling isn't something you would enjoy. The benefit of the morning routine being outside of the emails is the the reset in your brain, I guess. It's like it's a whole different shift of when you're feeling busy, and I know, like, right now, you're intentionally not feeling busy, so maybe now isn't necessarily a time that's it's really important, but it's easier to do it when it's not really busy to get into the habit
mhm,
of doing it because it helps you kinda have that, like, deep breath for your brain. I feel like that's a good way of putting it where it's like, "Oh, okay," and the other thing too is, like, if you decide that journaling is the type of thing that you want in your morning, it's almost like a brain dump of thoughts, and then you can kinda sort out your day, and you can kind of figure out what is important to you or what is not important, or if you're looking at your day, like, checking in your morning routine journaling of how you feel like you're doing with your movement routine and maybe something that you are enjoying about it or something that you are feeling like you need to change. It's just talking to yourself on paper.
mhm.
And so it's just that kind of reset each day that helps. And it sounds like it wouldn't help, but it does make a difference. So it's not necessarily like, having your coffee and checking your emails is totally fine, like, that's something that you do and you enjoy, I think that's great, but I would try to do something that doesn't have any technology.
Yeah, that's a good suggestion because I do like technology in that, like, I make a lot of reels and um, have my social media accounts and stuff like that. So yeah, I get that to take that step away. And
Yeah.
I
And
I
maybe
have
too
tried.
oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I never really journaled, but I had tried doing like diaries or kind of keeping a log. So I guess it's essentially journaling, but I've never been consistent with it. So maybe if I have my routine set in place, because I would do that for, oh, a month. The longest time I ever did it, little side note, was when I moved down to Tennessee and I'm like, I'm going to keep a whole book full of everything that's happening, what the weather's like, all this stuff so I can read or go back and read it later. And yeah, I think I made it a year. That was the longest I've ever done it. I
Wow.
was so proud of myself.
That's awesome though.
1 year.
How did you feel when you were doing it?
Uh, well, it was kind of pointless because it really was, what's the weather like today? It wasn't like what are
Something
my
you don't
thoughts?
really care to look back on.
Yeah. Yeah. No, but it did feel nice because I'm more just nostalgic in that way where it's kind of fun to look back on your writing and be like, what was going on in your life at that point. So I
Yeah.
guess it is journaling then, in a sense.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing too is if that is your routine, if you want to do something without technology, even if it's reading, you don't necessarily have to journal if that's not your thing. Like think of a book that you want to read. But when you sit down to do your coffee, since you're already in that motion to sit down, do your coffee, before you turn on your computer, set your timer for 5 minutes and pull out a book or pull out your notebook or whatever you're doing and just kind of stack it on top of what you're already doing and just see how it goes. If you hate it and you don't like it, then scrap it and do something else. But that is something. And the other thing too is with your morning routine, if you're going to start a walk, that is part of your morning routine too. So you don't necessarily have to be doing journaling if that is not something that interests you because you're getting the walk in. So if you weren't doing the walk, then I would say for sure do something else. But you can also think of your walk as part of your morning routine if that is something that is more important to you than doing the journaling thing, because that is without technology there.
Sounds like a plan.
All right. So, how are you feeling about this?
That looks good.
So, with the movement, do you want to kind of structure what that trigger is, or how do you want to do the movement that you want to do I can't talk at that lunchtime block?
I'm rubbing off on you. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I do that all the time, and I even do it when I'm recording the podcast, and I'm like, ah,
I think it would be most beneficial to leave it as just movement because my trigger is going to be Mikey starting. And so then I can just choose what equipment I want to use, or if I want to go for another walk, or if I want to do walk away the pounds or something like that. So I think just leaving it as movement is going to be the best option for me.
okay. All right. So your trigger is Mike getting started, but then if you're not feeling motivated and Mike is, say, he has a meeting and he can't do it that day and you still want to get it in, what is going to be the thing that pushes you like, okay, I'm not feeling it, but what can I do to just start? Like,
I
will
need to
you be
put up
putting,
a big banner that has Jamaica on it. So it's my motivation.
hey, that might be a thing. Like, will you be putting your shoes on, or maybe you're serious about the banner? I can put that on here.
I'm almost serious about the banner. I'm a visual person, and that's how I lost a bunch of weight last time, and I just felt really good, was because we were getting ready for vacation and I didn't wanna feel like crap.
Mhm.
And so I'm actually being serious. That probably would be really good for me if I made, a little banner with pictures and stuff from our last trip. Just be like, then you'll be ready to go whenever it's time to go on vacation."
Well, the other thing too is you are doing your project stuff through the time up until lunch. Are you typically on your computer at all at that point?
Well, no, because that's usually when it comes to editing, but when I'm doing one of my hobbies, I'm usually in my hobby room, or if it's
Okay.
baking, then obviously in the kitchen, so
So one of the things you could do too is if you create a Jamaica board on Canva or even just find a picture of Jamaica, you can attach, let me just double check here. You can attach photos to Google Calendar
Ooh.
so that you can set it in your Google Calendar to pop up like 5 minutes before and say, get ready for movement with a picture of Jamaica. And then it would kind of trigger you to be like, hey, I need to go work out. And even if it's just, okay, like your step is getting your clothes changed into whatever you're going to work out in, putting your shoes on, and then just pulling out the mat and your weights. And then just start with some stretches or something easy so you're not if you're really not feeling motivated that you're not going to go straight diving into, you know, trying to learn how to run. Like I mean that would be really hard, but if you can just pull your mat out and start kind of stretching to get ready to work out, or maybe it is just starting with some squats, something like that, where it just is the same thing right away every time, then the rest of your workout will start to flow because you just need to get yourself into that first step.
I love that.
Yeah, I think if you are creating an event, yeah, you can add attachments.
Yeah,
So
that's
I'm gonna
perfect because I am definitely a visual person.
So let's do this. I'm going to plug it into my phone here quick and see
Can you hear
how
my
it
doggy
comes up.
barking in the background?
Uh-uh.
He's awfully cute. I can see him through the door.
Oh, I can very, very faintly
Can you
hear
hear
him.
him?
Yep, very faintly. Yeah, I don't know how it will actually pop up because it just on mine right now, if I open the event, it says it's the attached image. But I know sometimes, you know how it gives you that like picture that pops up when you get the notification if you have it like set for 30 minutes before or whatever. I don't know
Mhm.
how it does it that way, but we should test it and see if that works.
The other thing that we could do is put it in my cupboard next to my meal calendar because I am looking at that quite a bit. So I could have it in multiple places as a reminder.
Yep.
And
Yeah,
then
for sure.
that's not as nice where it is actually going to give you the time frame where it's a reminder like right before you're supposed to do it, but it's a constant reminder that it's something that needs to be done because it's so funny. I do forget things if I don't see them. And
Mhm.
it can be something that's important, but it's like, oh, I didn't, yeah, totally forgot about that. So
Yep. And that's
constant
where
reminder would be good.
also doing that quick review, even though you know your schedule, that just laying out like the step by step, oh, these are the things that I need to be doing. So it just keeps you kind of on track with what your goals are, not necessarily what you have to do, but what you're wanting to do so that you don't forget about it.
Mhm. Well, and normally what I would do when it comes to movement or whatever, I would say I need to lose this amount of weight. But I'm again a mind shift in my life. I don't want to be looking at how much weight do I need to lose.
Mhm.
I'm trying to get more where it's like, how am I healthy? How am I just, you know, making sure that I'm being the best me and
Mhm.
not worrying that it's 5 pounds less than what I am now. You know what I mean? Where it's just
Yep.
I'm trying to just change things up a little bit.
Yep, absolutely. I agree with you. That's my focus too, is like I'm not focused on the number on the scale. I'm focused on like the actions that I'm taking.
Mhm.
And that's what's helped me be most consistent the longest. And I think it is a mindset shift for sure. Like I have seen people in their 60s and 80s still talking about diets and losing weight. And I'm like, I don't want to be in my 80s still trying to lose pounds that I was trying to lose in my 20s. Like, and
Mhm.
just have that be the whole life focus. It's like that sounds exhausting and it doesn't sound like you're ever truly happy with where you're at. And it's like, I just want to be healthy and I just needed to take steps to do that. I know I'm not there, but yeah, I think that is a really good way to do it.
Yeah. Mike has been saying for years, he's like, diets are not sustainable, honey. You just need to eat healthy and exercise and you'll be fine.
Yep.
I'm like, okay, I'm listening now. It only took 16 years.
All right. So we've got that. How are you feeling about this setup for your movement?
I'm loving it. And honestly, I think leaving it at that and that amount of notes is good because I don't want to put too many notes and then I'm going to feel like overwhelmed or whatever. I want to keep it very
Mhm.
simple
Perfect.
and it looks fabulous.
Wonderful. All right. So then we still have 15 minutes. So you said you wanted to do meal planning as well. Is that still
Yeah.
your thoughts or what are you thinking?
Yes. So regarding the meal planning, I'm loving the fact that we have the calendar and we're putting it on the calendar. So there is intentionality that way. What I'm struggling with is the meal prep, like actually getting all the ingredients and prepping things beforehand.
Mhm.
What we're doing right now is working and it's working way better than what I was doing previously. So, still thank you for the routine. It's just I'm not following it to what you have in mind. And I think it could be a lot easier. Like when you were down here that week, that was so nice having everything chopped up and ready to go. So, I don't really know if it's what am I trying to say? My man cooks with me as well, and he's not as structured as I like to be. So, I also want to ebb and flow with his routine, and he's actually a better cook than me. So it's like I am enjoying being his sous chef. And so I'm enjoying the cutting up process and, prepping while he's over there starting to saute something.
Mhm.
And that seems to be working okay, but I do think it would be quicker and easier if everything was prepped. But right now, it doesn't necessarily have to be quicker. I'm sorry, I am rambling this
No, you're
morning.
totally fine. So, okay, so what is your process right now? Because if you said that you let me look back here. You said you're usually prepping for dinner around 3:30
Yeah.
and then
So
getting cleaned up. So is he in the kitchen with you at that time or are you in there doing all that stuff to get it prepped for him?
it depends on the meal. If it's something that he looked up and it's a little bit more elaborate, I wait until he's in there with me and then he'll kind of come back and forth. If it is something that we're very familiar with, a routine meal, I'll prep it and then he'll usually start helping me cook or he'll do the majority of the cooking at that 5 o'clock time.
Okay. So what is your routine now for grocery shopping? Are you doing that like if you're using the calendar, are you doing all of your grocery shopping for the week at one time? Are you stopping throughout the week and then having to prep throughout the week as you get it? Like what does that look like for you?
That's actually really interesting because we're not doing a lot of shopping. So we're using the calendar and I actually end up making shifts because we have food left over or whatever. So I'm like, I actually end up erasing it and putting, fridge sweep or leftovers. And then the next day we'll make chicken and then you've got leftovers again. So I'm usually shopping at one time and then it goes a lot longer than I thought it was going to go. So then it's like I don't need to go shopping on Monday like I was originally planning, but then it's like I make it to Wednesday and I'm like, should I have just gone on Monday, even though I didn't need it quite yet?
Yeah. How many fridge sweeps or leftover days are you doing right now?
Several, probably 3 a week.
But you're planning ahead of time and then plugging those in and erasing what you're doing. Is that right?
Yeah. What we decided to do was have like four. I think we did four actual meals. And then we do leftovers. And generally, we end up erasing at least one of those meals and doing leftovers again because
Okay.
we didn't need it.
Okay. So typically what we do, and maybe this will be helpful for you, is when you're looking at your meals, you're always looking at what you already have on hand so that if you don't have to go shopping, like you can use what you have on hand and then plugging in those days. So maybe it's just plugging in that 4th day as a fridge sweep day, but then having, like, backup meals that are easier to keep shelf stable. So, maybe it's 3 meals that you're actually shopping for your, your fresh vegetables and those types of things that are going to go bad that you want to use up, but then you have kind of like back pocket meals where maybe it is
Brats and sauerkraut.
Sure, like, you could do brats and sauerkraut. Those are not gonna go bad because you can keep them in the freezer, in the pantry sealed.
That
Um,
literally is one of our backup meals that it's just like, if you have nothing to make, you do the potatoes and the brats and the sauerkraut. Talk about not
okay.
very healthy, but it is our backup
But
meal.
if that works. Yeah, so always having that on hand as that backup meal and just having a list of them right on your calendar, like in the corner or something. So, like, these are your backup meals for the month so that you never feel like you are wasting ingredients, but you also aren't gonna put yourself in a position where it's like, "We have no food," and now you're frustrated because you don't have anything to cook. Another one is, like, frozen vegetables, like stir fry vegetables, and having chicken in the freezer. And then if you like rice, either doing cauliflower rice in the freezer or regular rice in the pantry, like, those things you can keep for a really long time, but they're always just there, that if you need one of those really quick, especially if they're quick, it's really handy. If you need one of those quick meals, you can pull it out, but maybe it is planning just 3 meals and having that routine to get your fresh vegetables. Then that way you don't have to do so much tweaking throughout the week and it's already planned out. I guess, do you guys like having leftovers? Because otherwise it might just be like paring down the amount of ingredients you buy at one time and like cooking less at a time, but then you'd end up cooking more throughout the week. So I don't know if you like that either.
We are completely fine with leftovers. Like,
Okay.
he enjoys cooking. I enjoy baking more than cooking. So he does have his days that he absolutely loves it, but we are both totally fine with only cooking a few times a week. Plus, realistically, we do stuff on the weekends. So generally on our calendar, which you told me to put on there, I do put eating out, or we were going to a friend's for dinner or something like that. So that's
Okay.
generally the case for the weekend. Quick funny story. So obviously Thanksgiving's coming up and we are right now at the point that we do need to go grocery shopping. And I asked him, I'm like, who said you have to have it on Thanksgiving? I feel like we should just get groceries for Thanksgiving, have our Thanksgiving early, and then have all the leftovers so we can make it work
That's
throughout
a
the
good
month.
point.
I don't want to get regular groceries and then go grocery shopping again for Thanksgiving. So he didn't say no.
I actually really like that idea. That's funny.
But as long as you feel like it is okay with how we're doing it, like it's not, well, back
Well,
up again.
it's your routine. Like, you get to choose how you want to do it. So it's whatever you feel like is working or isn't working, that's what we wanna look at, what's not working and how it can fit in with what is working, because we want it to be something you guys enjoy.
Right, but the thing is you don't know if you don't know. So,
True.
it's like, if I'm sitting here going, "Oh, I think this works," and you're like, "You should try this," and then it's like, light bulb. That's such a fabulous idea. But on the most part, it is working, pretty well with at least having the calendar. Like, the calendar itself is wonderful, and I like the fact that if I don't have any ideas, I'm able to look back on it and grab some of the meals that I've already used in the last month. That was a
Mhm.
great tip. I love that one.
Good. So maybe what also will help too is when you are doing that shopping, if you're doing it once a week, are you typically bringing home a lot of vegetables?
Yeah.
Because that is like, if it goes in the fridge when I get home, it's probably not getting prepped until it's getting made. And then we end up wasting a lot more vegetables.
Mm,
So, if that is not a habit that you have yet, it's when you get home, you just wanna make sure your sink is all cleaned out and then fill it with cold water and then dump some white vinegar in there, about a half a cup, and then just put all your vegetables in there, like the ones that make sense to put in there,
yeah.
and drop those in while you put the rest of the stuff away. And then do you use your meal prep containers or those? Because we are they too bulky?
They're too bulky and they have the colander in it, so you can't
Yeah.
see what's in there, and Mikey's like, "Honey, like the idea, it ain't working." And I'm
Yeah.
like, "Darn."
I I was really hoping that they would be more see-through and they would have, like, wider so you could really see, but, yeah, when we started putting them in there, I'm like, "You can't even see what's in there, that might be tough."
Yeah, I'm not gonna tell you how long some of those vegetables stayed in our fridge.
You needed the colander to get them out.
Practically, I needed the declutter
Gross.
challenge that you're doing.
Oh, man. Oh, if I see them at Aldi again, the ones that we have, I should almost just ship them to you because they're so nice because they're just all clear and you can see all these like brightly colored vegetables.
Yeah.
And they stack nicely. So yeah, that one, that's a bummer. I wish we would have been able to see them before we had ordered those.
Oh, it's good. I'm using them for other things, not in my fridge, but I'm using them for other things. So they're not going to waste. But
Okay,
uh,
that's good.
yeah, the other thing that's really cool is your declutter challenge. Like my fridge hasn't looked this good in so long. So maybe now that my fridge is clean, my vegetables will stand out a little bit more.
Well, and technically you could take if you're using the containers, you could take the baskets out and use the baskets for like your pantry or items in your fridge that you want to keep together that you don't want to spill all over. Just use the colander piece as like your pantry container or fridge
I just
container.
ordered a cupboard for my hobby room. I could use those as actual sorters.
Yeah. Yeah, because then you
Yeah,
can still use them and then you still have that clear container with the snap lid for something else to organize something else.
very true. Cool.
So I don't know if that's helpful, but yeah, just doing the main prep when you get home, then I guess if you're still doing it together and you enjoy doing like the sous chef side things and you're only doing it 3 to 4 nights a week and you're good with that, like you're comfortable with that, I guess it's up to you what you want to change for the meal planning.
The only thing that I really want to change or figure out is when to shop. So I'm going
Okay.
to look at that more. Now that we've talked it through, I actually do feel like what we're doing is working pretty well right now. And
Okay.
so I don't really need to change much on that. But the shopping part, I guess if we don't need to shop on Monday, I don't have to. Or maybe we could even consider shopping for 2 weeks versus doing 1 week and then having some more
Doing more frozen stuff
yeah,
so
more
for the
frozen meals.
later week.
Yeah, because we eat a lot of chicken and vegetables anyway, and especially now that Mike's gonna be training, he's going to switch up to going back to a lot of chicken and veggies. So that's
Yep.
going to work really well for this too. So, okay,
Well,
cool.
and the other thing too is even though you might not necessarily need to shop on a certain day, it is really nice having that like set day for the routine. And maybe your grocery list is just very minimal, but then you know you're set for the week. So when you're evaluating what day you have to shop, rather than just being on the reactive side of because here's the thing is if you are, you shop on say Monday and then you get to Monday of the next week and you're like, "Oh, I have a couple things left. I don't have to do it on Tuesday." Well, then or I don't have to do or shop till Wednesday. Well, then on Wednesday, if you already had things planned, it's not part of your routine and that might throw off your schedule and then all of a sudden it's like, "Well, now we're out of groceries and you're stressed about trying to make what's for dinner." Where it's like, "Oh, I should have just gone on Monday, but we didn't necessarily need it." And it just happens to be more reactive where if you find a time that works really well for you, then maybe you just don't have to shop as much. Like maybe it's just going to be a lot quicker of a shopping trip or cheaper of a shopping trip because you can still look ahead and be like, okay, we still have meals for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We really only need stuff for Friday, but I can still get it on Monday. And go in and do it that way. So then you have that consistency of because we kind of do the same thing where our day, we don't do it on weekends. I know a lot of people do it on weekends. It doesn't work for us, and it might not work for you if you guys are always busy on weekends too, but
Mm.
we do Tuesdays. So our cycle runs from Tuesday through Monday. So we do it on Tuesday and then we're good for the week, we're good for the weekend, and we're good for that Monday night, which is really nice because you already have it planned for Monday night, which is always it seems to be a stressful night of trying to figure out what's for dinner when you get into the week. So doing that and then having the rest of the week. So that Tuesday is our reset day. So maybe that would help too.
That is a really good tip because actually that's where I'm literally at right now because today's Thursday and I'm trying to think, okay, we made it most of the
Yep.
week. So it's exactly what you just said.
See?
We have
It's
leftovers for
telepathy.
tonight and I don't have anything for tomorrow. Oh, funny. One thing though, in the community group, we should share recipes.
We have thought about that. So I was talking to Claire about that. We did one post where it was just talking about what we enjoyed. But yeah, I was thinking about that too, is we should do a recipe post where it's like, what are your favorite recipes? And then actually like pin it and put it at the top of the group. I'll have to talk to Clara about when we should do that post and then we can pin it and just have like a running list of recipes rather than just meal ideas. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, that would be amazing because then if you're really stuck, you can go, "Oh, I remember that Beverly said this."
Yep. Oh, I love that you pulled out Beverly. She's going to
Hi,
appreciate that.
Beverly. I love it. Thank you so much for everything you're doing. I am
Oh, you're
loving
welcome.
how life feels right now, and it's primarily due to you helping me organize things. So, thank
Oh,
you.
thanks. Oh, thank you. I appreciate you doing it and being so supportive too. So thank you.
And you're welcome.
Did you love that episode or learn something useful? If so, would you do me a huge favor? My goal is to grow this podcast and help as many women as I can break free from the overwhelm so they can truly enjoy their life. The best way for me to do this is for you to leave a 5-star written review on your podcast app and to share this episode with a friend or in your Instagram stories. I appreciate you being here. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you on the next episode. Take care.